Hello and welcome to Victims of the Punt, a show about New South Wales horse racing. Saturday's meeting at Rosehill is on the lands of the Burro-Madigal people of the Darug Nation, and we acknowledge them as the traditional owners and pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Victims is brought to you by Australian-owned and operated bookmaker ReadyBet, the great mailbag bloodstock who just keep going from strength to strength, and of course punting form Australia's best racing database. Now let's have a quick look back at what happened last week. It was a treacherous day at Randwick last Saturday. Mark Shean managed to find a way. He gave us two selections, and one of them was in a bit of uncharted territory for him, the highway, and he got the cash with Luke Pepper's very nice filly, Opal Ridge. Look, in hindsight, getting better than 2.5 about a horse of her quality in a race like that was a bit of a luxury. It didn't improve from there. The track certainly didn't, and then Mark's other bet, Surefire, probably had no hope the way the track was playing. And I was actually surprised he started as short as he did, given those conditions. There was another horse in that boat on the day as well, which absolutely staggered me. It was so well backed, was Andermatt. Mark, did you have a view on those market moves, Andermatt in particular?
Well, Andermatt's the worst I've ever seen at parade, so I was smacked by the move for it. I think they were just looking for bog trackers, but certainly didn't map on the rail. And as I said, it's the worst I've ever seen him look. I don't know if Rob concurred with that, but he looked big and looked hairy. So I even spoke to two people walking out, and they both said the same thing. I was going to back Andermatt, and they both were shaking their head and changed their mind. So certainly from the yard, you couldn't have backed him, in my opinion, anyway.
Shows there's still hope in the game, you know?
Well, it really does. I mean, I would suggest 20 or 30 years ago, Eduardo would have been solid as a rock and Andermatt would have been out the gate with both the track pattern and that parade. But there are different forces in play now, and they're successful over the 12 months and they just get the money on and they back what they want to back, and that's right. It can create. Eduardo really, in my view, was a silly price by jump time.
Oh, of course it was. And what did you think of Eduardo's parade? He looked a bit, he looked bigger than condition. He looked more relaxed than normal. Would you agree, Mark?
Yeah, look, I thought he looked okay. For 1,000, he was fine. I thought so. He got the job done. So anyway,
he's a borderline champion horse, 290 on a track that's suited. What happened?
Yeah, gobsmacking really. And look, we don't want to harp on it because if you're going to talk about Sydney racing, you're going to spend 90% of your time just whinging about tracks. But that was as bad as it gets, I thought, last Saturday. Mark, did you agree?
Yeah, well, we were hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but it was pretty bad, wasn't it? And, I've got a question mark over where we're headed this week as well, because normally when the rail is out 6 metres, they go back to the true position. They've gone from a 7-metre rail back to 5. So this is uncharted territory. Normally when they get them out to the middle there, straight back to the true, and we've only come back in a couple of metres. So I don't know what that does to the pattern on the day.
Yeah, whether they're trying to get it in the true for Golden Rose Day, or maybe that's the long-term plan. I don't know, but it is a bit out of the ordinary. Anyway, I mean, look, I don't know anything about the science of track preparation, but I do know that I hate lane one biases. It's the hardest to punt on. I'll tell you who doesn't hate them, though, is Rob Scurry, because he didn't sit there and whinge about the track bias. He just got on with the job of finding the right horses in the yard and winning 14 units for his very lucky subscribers. That was a great performance, Rob.
Thanks, Mark. It was one of those days where I had to stop looking at your map. I had to stick to the process, do the yard, and then look at the map, which you were right about a lot of the time. I was a little bit stiff in race one, as you had the one horse, the thing that ran second, the 7. You had it stuck 3 wide, but it pinged to the front. But J-Mac on Mark Sheen's horse was just a bit too good, and look out because of Yosco.
Yeah, so sensational performance anyway, Rob.
Thanks,
to win that well on a track that most punters were just whinging about all day just shows the great benefit of your approach. Head to the mailbag, download the app and get Rob's stuff. You're not doing yourself any favours if you don't.
All right. Mark, any promos or specials for ReadyBet this week?
There are a ton of them, Rob. Thanks for asking. We've got promos on tennis, AFL, rugby league, horse racing, harness racing, and greyhound racing. So if it's free bets and refunds you're after, check them out. If you want to use your own money, we're going to be top of the market. A couple of favourites at Flemington and Rosehill. Tomorrow we'll release them on social media later today. Remember to follow ReadyBet on all those social channels. And yeah, if you're right and we're wrong about a couple of favourites tomorrow, you can collect. All right, back to you, Rob, for the Black Book segment.
Yeah, that's the one everyone's been waiting for. RedfernExpress BLACKBOOKERS, the best free content you'll find in Sydney racing, presented by the mailbagbloodstock.com.au. This week, we've got a star witness, Express Central half-brother to Umgawa, who won multiple city races and nearly 400k in stakes. From 15 starts, broken in up in Queensland with Flying Collins, is now spelling under the Queensland winter/spring sun. Heads to the same train as Umgawa in Leon and Troy Corstons and has arrived in Victoria in terrific order. So 2 triallers for the Black Book this week, both from Rosehill trials on Tuesday. First up, an unraced Stern filly from the Godolphin outfit, Parasol.
Yeah, she's had 3 trials all up, had a trial in March. This was her second trial. This time in, she had a trial at Hawkesbury recently. She's finished off quite nicely in both trials, so she's in the blue of Godolphin. Didn't show a great deal of early speed, but I really did like the way that she quickened up over the final stages. So both my triallers this week certainly would be looking towards provincial meetings. So this one, Parasol, as I said, didn't show a great deal of speed, but I really like the way she finished off over the including stages. Jones Cummings seems to be quite easy on these horses through the winter, and then starts to target these races, picks their work up, and they come into races just about ready to go around this time of year. So like the way it quickened here over the concluding stages, just nutted in the final couple of strides, but he'd like the way it hit the line. So I think it'd probably be better off over about 1,400 metres or so, but certainly one to put in the Black Book.
Okay, on the same morning, a So You Think colt from the Waller Yard, Pungo.
Yeah, Pungo, who is, as you said, by So You Think, he showed great gate speed here. He jumped out with Hugh Bowman aboard and controlled this heat. Normally I don't like leaders from the trials, especially around Rosehill, because they can get a bit of an edge going around that circle. But he seemed to do it really well on the bit all the way here, just giving a little bit of a click up halfway up the straight, and I like the way he responded. Looked a nice big strider from the Chris Wallace stable. So Chris has usually got him pretty ready to go first up nowadays, not like the old days, used to take a couple of runs, but he certainly changed his tune there. But Pungo and unraced So You Think they're in front of the 200. As you can see, Bowman still has a good tight rein on him, just gives him a little bit of a niggle, and he holds them off. Time was okay. I thought that was good enough to win a maid.
Excellent. What colours does that race in? Is it? Yeah, I don't recognise.
No, they're a different set. I don't think I've seen them before.
No, yeah, that caught my eye. But yes. Anyway, 2 more for the Black Book. They have a great record, these Black Bookers, so add them to your Black Book and follow them whenever they hit the racetrack. Right, we are off to Rosehill on Saturday. Track's given a soft 5 yesterday, but there has been rain around overnight and this morning. Hopefully it hasn't done too much damage, because it looks like the weather is going to clear up this morning and into tomorrow. So, look, firstly, what are we looking at, a 5 or a 6? And Mark, you've already touched on that 5 metre rail, so just give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the penetrometer they gave this morning was 5.3, which suggests it's pretty close to about a 4, really.
Right.
But they've had 2 mil this morning with no rain in the last half hour. So good day forecast tomorrow. We'll just have to watch the first couple of races, but I don't think it'd be too bad, just the edge off it maybe.
Yeah, and that 5 metre, I suppose it's, historically in the, that 4, 5, 6, 7 range, it's on pace, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's got me a bit baffled with that, the changes. As I said, they normally go right back in. So
yeah,
at least we can watch a couple of races early.
That's why I'm not playing on the highway this week. You're just taking the money and running after last week.
No, just one a year.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, so we've got the punting form data for this meeting as always. You can go to puntingform.com.au and check all this out for yourself. The meeting data does tend to suggest what we touched on. Traditionally in this sort of rail position, on pace and inside is best. Not impossible to make ground, but certainly you don't want to be swooping like you would perhaps on a true rail. Then we can have a quick look at the jockey data. A couple of jockeys flying under the radar. Chad Schofield, I've mentioned once or twice in recent times, in his last 100 rides, is outperforming the market. So is Tom Sherry, who is probably not doesn't have as high a profile as he has had in different parts of his career, but he's getting a job done against the market anyway. And as we say every time at Rosehill and Randwick, Bowman and McDonald, you can just back them and win. So why would you want to get away from those two great jockeys? Anyway, Mark has found two for us, as usual, on Saturday's card. And we start in race 6, the Ming Dynasty Quality, over 1,400 metres. A 3-year-old race. Some of these horses may be targeting the longer races later in the spring. We'll just have a quick look at some of the main chances in the market. We've got number 4, Basquiat at 13, 5 Golden Mile at 420, down to number, I'll leave it. Magic. Let's go to those main chances. 10 Aussie Pico at 6, 11 Zoo Tiger, 4, 12 Conqueror, 480. They really are the big three in the market. And Mark, you lean to one of them, I believe.
Yeah, look, I was on Conqueror the other day. I don't know if he would have beaten Kaboo. He was a late scratching, but I'm not sure it was his fault. There was a horse drawn next to him, Ringmaster, which was off its head in the yard, and it drew next to him and maybe upset the apple cart there. I thought his first run up was things didn't go his way there at all. I thought he paraded better at Rosehill than he did first up. So he's had a trial since, a couple of trials, I think, actually. He's been hard held. Look, probably more a gut feeling. I could have found an easier race to have a bet in, but look, I think from an inside draw, he sets up to get a decent run anyway, hopefully, if he steps away. So, look, Golden Mile, outstanding type. Rob can probably give us a better guide. Bigger stern, probably looked a bit fat the other day and he was dragged back, so he'll probably race a bit closer from that barrier. I'm not sure what to make of Zoo Tiger. He beat a team of walkers there the other day, got a soft lead, and sectionally wasn't outstanding, so maybe if the track pattern plays to leaders, he's the one who can ping across and lead. But, I'm not sure about him at the price. Personally, I think Ozopenko is the best horse in this race, but I think a mile or 2,000 metres is more his go. Spring champion, I missed the price there. I would have liked to add something on the $16, but anyway, that's the way things go. Just whether it's a bit too short for him, 1,400 metres. With that break. But as I said, I think he will be the best horse out of this race, but I'm going to back Conqueror on the day tomorrow.
Rob, we'll throw to you in a second, just a review on some of these. I will say, if Jack Dickens is listening, the SP Profile King, Ozopenko started $2 against Kaboo at its last start. So for SP Profiles, they'll have a big opinion of Ozopenko. Rob, these 3-year-olds really are your wheelhouse. Anything to share on them?
Well, wasn't Ozopenko a Mark Shean trialer from the other day? So he's sort of going against himself here. But Conqueror is a bit of a yard watch. I think he could improve again. And, that inside draw, it does set up very well for him with Jay Ford on Ozopenko. Maybe, as Mark's alluding to, today is not the day. Zoo Tiger, I'm interested in it. It's a big horse, and like its racing pattern seems to get in well here. And the O'Shea, just a gut feel. I'm not sure if punting form could back me up, but I reckon the last 50 it seems to have found a bit of form. I'm not sure the ones up the top, Williamsburg, Rise of the Masses. I'm not sure if they're much shot.
Golden Mile, you saw him the other day?
Golden Mile, James Cumming. I can't place him. I'll have to look at the race again. I can't place him.
He was a big fat looking strong horse. He's an imposing type, but he looked like he had a lot of improvement.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about a Stern as well. You were in your trial. That's a sire that wasn't sure was going to be any good, but they just seem to be, just popping up everywhere lately as well. Again, gut feel thing, but here's another one, Golden Mile.
All right. Thank you for that, both of you. We'll now move over to the second race for discussion. That's race 8, the Theo Marks Stakes, over 1,300 metres. And we'll have a quick look at the main chances in the Reddybeck market. We've got number 1, Kementari at $9, 3 Ellsberg at $3.60, 4 Mr. Mozart at $3.30. 40, down to number 7 Rustic Steel at 7, 10 Jamea $7.50, 12 Prime Candidate at 10. I see Brutality's come out, so there'll be slight adjustments to that, but nothing major. So we've trimmed up a little bit some of those prices. But the big two in the market are number 3 Ellsberg and number 4 Mr. Mozart. What have you got for us, Mark?
Yeah, well, I'm with Mr. Mozart. Actually, they trialled together recently at Rosehill. Ellsberg didn't have the the blinkers on. This was a different trial. They were with Mr. Mozart from Canterbury, but they trialled together at Rosehill. So this is at Canterbury the other day. They said it was slow, but it was a bob. It was about an 11. Mr. Mozart does love those conditions, but I love the way he tracked up here and gobbled them up the last 50. Now, he's had 5 starts a Sydney way of going. He's won 4 of them. And the other time on a leader's track, he was 4 wide and a limb. So he's got a great record in the Sydney way. He's drawn well. He races on speed. And I can forgive his first up runs, which have been in Melbourne in his last 2 preparations, where he's been in unsuitable races. I think he's been in 1,100 metres first up twice, and then Damien Oliver missed the start on him and circled the field and gave him a tough run second up last time, and he came back to Sydney and won 3 on end. So I think he sets up well here. The one I'm a little bit worried about is a Tissue, who I thought trialled really well. I know she's a bit of heart in your mouth stuff. You'd probably want to back her after she jumped and better back her in the run and see how she comes out of the machine. But her run in Brisbane was quite good last start, and I thought she trialled up okay. Ellsberg, look, he's as honest as the day is long, very good fresh. But I just thought Mr. Mozart getting 3 kilos off him, I'd rather go that way.
Yeah, Rob, look, a few old stages here, but you'd know them pretty well.
Yeah, I got worries about a lot of these. A Tissue I was on in the Coolmore Classic when it missed the start 50. Thought she was a standout in the yard that day. Mark, you're not worried about Prime Candidate kicking up, and what do you think is going to happen there with Mr. Mozart? Is he just going to let Prime Candidate go?
Yeah, I think so. I think Prime Candidate probably maps the lead. I think Ellsberg will kick up. Mr. Mozart probably be maybe 1-1 or outside the lead, I thought. What did you think, Mark? Did you map them that way? Or?
Yeah, I thought Prime Candidate would lead, and, well, Mr. Mozart's drawn inside Ellsberg at 1,300. I thought Mr. Mozart could just sit off wherever he wanted. I thought he was drawn perfectly, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, he's a chunky type, Mr. Mozart. He's good markings, his coat and his tail and stuff, and just make him go faster. But yeah, he's a striking individual, as I'd say, in the breeding world, as is Ellsberg, who's my tip for the Epsom at this stage. He seems to be bomb-proof, and he certainly looks like an Epsom winner. He's a really good weight for age type of horse. Who knows, old Kementari, he's probably an each-way chance here. Seems to be drawn well with Bowman. As this race should be, it's there's a few chances, decent field, and yeah, looking forward to having a look at him.
Yeah, it's not a bad race. It's that time of year. I'm also quite interested to see the fillies and mares race, Espiona and the Flying Shades of Rose in particular in that race, and also Bella Nefertina. That looks a really good contest. If it's playing leaders, I suppose Shades of Rose will boom and Espiona will drift. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how the track's playing. But plenty of good racing. Thanks very much to both of you. As always, we'll just quickly recap what Mark's doing for us this weekend. We'll start with the BLACKBOOKERS there, Paracel and Pungo, and the best bets for race 6, number 12, Conqueror, and race 8, number 4, Mr. Mozart. There you can get 480 Conqueror and 340, perhaps 330 now, Mr. Mozart, with that scratching at readybet.com.au. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you very much, Mark. All the best for the weekend, and we'll talk next week.